My son sent a message. I stare at those words on my phone for a long moment, letting their weight settle inside me like slow-falling dust. The message sits there, bright and sharp in the dim light of my living room. The house is quiet, too quiet. It has that hollow sound old homes get when no one walks through them anymore, when laughter has drifted away, when memories echo louder than any voice. I hold the phone a little tighter than I should. My hand trembles, not because I'm shocked, but because even after everything I still hoped he wouldn't say something like that. My son used to run to me with scraped knees, with school drawings, with toothless grins and questions about the world. Now he sends me 4 cold words that feel like a locked door. I breathe out slowly, steadying myself. The clock ticks in the background, a lonely, patient sound that seems to understand me better than he does. I type back, "Okay," and hit send. That's all. No explanation. No anger, no pleading. Just a small word that ends a long conversation he never knew we were having. I set the phone on the table and lean back in my chair. The evening sun spills across the floorboards, the color of burnt honey. Dust floats in the air like tiny quiet things that don't ask for much. I listen to the world settling down around me. I try not to think about the years I spent trying to help him, guide him, push him through school, through jobs, through disappointments he blamed on everyone but himself. But I do think about it. I think about the money I've been quietly sending him every month while he struggled to hold a job. The rent, support. The little emergencies. The late-night phone calls when he needed help, though he'd never admit it the next morning. I think about the way he used to thank me once in a while, then slowly stopped, as if gratitude were something optional, something he could set aside like an old toy. I also think about the moment I realized he didn't see me the way I saw him. To him, I wasn't a father anymore. I was a wallet, a safety net, a background figure whose feelings didn't matter. That message didn't surprise me. It simply confirmed something I'd been feeling in the spaces between our conversations. I reach for my mug, find it empty, and let out a quiet sigh. I don't know whether I'm tired or just worn down from years of pretending everything was fine. Later that night, while the house hums softly around me, I open my banking app and make a decision, not out of spite. Not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. I stop every transfer, close every automatic payment, and redirect the little I give myself each month into my own account. It takes less than a minute. All those years of support disappear with one motion of my finger. I sit there afterward, listening to the silence, feeling something in me loosen. Not joy, not relief. Just honesty. The next morning passes quietly. I water the plants, make a simple breakfast, read a little. I don't check my phone. I don't expect anything from him. I don't need to. I've learned that expecting softness from someone who only sees you as a resource is a good way to bruise yourself. But on the 3rd day, just as the sun begins to sink and paint long shadows across the yard, I hear frantic knocking at my door. Sharp, rushed, desperate. Not the kind of knocking you ignore. I set down my book, stand slowly, and make my way through the hall. The knocking grows faster, uneven, filled with panic. I open the door. And there he is, my son, breathing hard, eyes wild, phone clutched in his hand, like it's the only thing keeping him upright. He doesn't say hello. He simply looks at me as if the world is collapsing beneath him. And I know, without a single word spoken, that something has gone very, very wrong. He stands on my porch, breathing like he ran all the way here. Though I know he didn't. He hasn't run anywhere in years. His eyes dart around, unable to settle on me for more than a second, as if looking at me directly might force him to face something he's been trying to avoid. I step aside and tell him to come in. He hesitates, almost like he's afraid the house will swallow him. Then he steps inside slowly, shoulders tense, phone still squeezed in his hand so hard his knuckles look strained. He doesn't sit. He just stands there in the middle of my living room, shifting his weight, tapping his fingers, staring at the floor. I wait. I've learned over the years that rushing him only shuts him down. Silence, though uncomfortable, is sometimes the only space where truth has room to appear. Finally, he swallows hard, lifts his eyes toward me, and says, "Dad, something's wrong." I nod once, keeping my voice calm. "What happened?" He runs a hand through his hair in a frantic motion, pacing a short line back and forth. The rent bounced. The utilities too. My card got declined. I tried transferring money, nothing went through. I called the bank. They said there's no incoming deposit anymore. None. Dad, I don't know what's going on. I let his words settle. He looks younger in moments like this, stripped of the confidence he wears when everything comes easy. He's rattled, scared in a way he doesn't want to show. But fear isn't weakness. Sometimes fear is the only thing that slows us down enough to look at the truth. I walk over to the window, watching the yard fade into the soft orange of early evening. I speak gently. I stop the support payments. The silence that follows is sharp and immediate. He stops pacing, stops breathing for a second. Then the confusion arrives, followed by disbelief, and finally, anger flickers behind his eyes like a spark catching on something dry. "What? Why? Dad, you can't just do that. I have bills. I have responsibilities. His voice cracks as he tries to form the next sentence, but frustration pushes through. "Why would you do that without telling me?" I turn to face him fully. "You told me you no longer needed me." He opens his mouth, ready to respond, but the realization hits him mid-breath. His eyes widen just a little. The message. The one he sent without thinking, or maybe with too much thinking and not enough heart. He looks down at his phone as if the words might rewrite themselves if he stares hard enough. That was, "Dad, I didn't mean," he stops. The excuse dies before it reaches his lips. I walk past him toward the kitchen, speaking softly, carefully, like a man sorting fragile things. "You said it plainly." And I listened. He follows me, anxious footsteps on the old hardwood floor. I was upset. I was stupid. I didn't think it mattered. I didn't think you'd take it literally. You always helped me. You always... He stops himself again, like he realizes what he's admitting. I pour myself a glass of water and take a slow sip. He watches every motion, like he's waiting for something more dramatic, more emotional, more fatherly. But I'm too tired for theatrics. Too tired for arguments fueled by entitlement and dependency. "You're an adult," I say quietly. Adults don't get to insult someone and still expect them to keep the lights on for them. He pushes his fingers against his temples, pacing again. "I wasn't insulting you. I was mad because you didn't answer earlier. I thought you were ignoring me. I didn't mean I don't need you. I didn't mean I don't want you in my life." His voice breaks a little at the end. He tries to hide it by clearing his throat, but I hear it. I hear all the years behind it. The weight of choices. The weight of misunderstandings neither of us addressed soon enough. I look at him carefully. "You sent me that message knowing I'd read it. You knew what it meant." He stops pacing and looks at me with something between regret and fear. "I did, and I'm sorry. But Dad, I'm drowning right now. I need your help, please." I sit down slowly at the kitchen table. He stands across from me, hands clasped together, shoulders hunched in a way I haven't seen since he was a kid trying to explain a bad grade. Except this time it's life, not schoolwork. And this time the consequences aren't temporary. "Help looks different now," I say quietly. "Not the way it used to." He frowns. "What do you mean?" "I'm not giving you money. Not like before. Not automatically. Not without responsibility. Not without respect." He closes his eyes as if bracing himself for a storm. "Dad, I don't know if I can fix all this by myself. I fold my hands on the table, steadying my voice. You won't be alone. But I'm not carrying your life for you anymore. He lets out a shaky breath, half relief, half fear. The anger in him dissolves into something softer: uncertainty, humility, maybe even remorse. He pulls out a chair and sits across from me, leaning forward. So, what do I do? His voice is quieter now, stripped of pride. We start small, I say. You start learning how to manage your money, how to stand on your own feet. And we rebuild our relationship with honesty, not demands. He looks at me with a kind of desperation that isn't childish. It's human, vulnerable, real. I haven't seen that expression on him in years. For a moment, I see the boy he once was, asking for guidance without shame. But just as I start to think we're finally on steady ground, his phone buzzes loudly on the table. His eyes flick to it, and I see his face drain of color. He picks it up, reads something quickly, and his hands begin to shake. He looks at me with a trembling breath, fear crawling back into his voice. Dad, there's something else. Something worse. He turns the screen toward me, and the message staring back at both of us makes my stomach tighten, because whatever this is, it's only the beginning. He turns the phone toward me with both hands, like he's afraid it might break if he holds it any tighter. The screen glows between us, cold and sharp in the dim kitchen light. I lean in, expecting another bounced payment or a warning about overdue bills. But it's worse. Much worse. It's a notice. A final one. From his landlord. You have 48 hours to resolve the balance or vacate the property. My son's breathing becomes uneven, shallow in a way that alarms me. He presses the phone against his forehead and closes his eyes. Dad, I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't check. I just assumed. He trails off, but the rest of the sentence fills the room anyway. He assumed I'd keep paying. He assumed nothing would ever shake. He assumed he could live without consequences. I pull the phone gently from his hand and place it on the table. When did you last pay anything yourself? He stares at the wood grain on the table like it has the answers he's been avoiding. A few months ago. Maybe 4 or 5. I kept meaning to. But work was slow. Then I quit. And then I thought I'd get something new. And then, his voice cracks again. I was embarrassed, Dad. I didn't want to tell you how bad things were getting. I nod slowly. So you pushed me away instead. He winces. The truth hits him harder than he expected. He leans back in the chair, running a shaky hand across his face. He doesn't have the steady composure he likes to pretend he has. Right now, he's just a young man who let his life slide too far downhill. I speak gently. Why didn't you come to me earlier? He looks at me with eyes that finally show something real: fear, yes, but also guilt. Because I thought you'd be disappointed. I thought you'd tell me I failed. So I tried acting like I didn't need you. I thought it would make me look stronger. But all I did was make everything worse. He folds his arms on the table and lowers his head onto them, like a child who has finally run out of excuses. His shoulders shake once, barely visible, but I see it. The weight he's been carrying finally cracks in half. I sit quietly, letting the silence work on him. Sometimes silence can teach more than words ever will. After a long moment, he lifts his head. His eyes are red around the edges, though he tries to hide it. Dad, what am I going to do? 48 hours isn't enough time. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have money for a deposit. I don't know what to say to my landlord. I don't know what to do next. I take a slow breath. My voice stays calm, steady, grounded. You don't fix everything in one night. You fix the next step. Then the next one after that. He watches me like a drowning man watches a rope being lowered to him. I continue. First, you're going to call your landlord. Tonight, not tomorrow. Not later. Tonight, you're going to speak respectfully. You're going to take responsibility. And you're going to ask for time. Not demand it, Ask. He nods quickly, hope flickering in his eyes. And will he give me time? I shrug gently. I don't know. But you'll behave like a man who's willing to earn it. That's what matters. He swallows hard. And if he doesn't? I fold my hands. Then you stay here for a while. His head snaps up. Here. Yes, temporarily, not forever. Not as a fallback. As a reset. A chance to start over the right way. Something softens across his face, surprise mixed with remorse. After what I said to you? That message didn't make you stop being my son. He looks away, blinking hard. His voice lowers. I don't deserve that. I shake my head. You don't need to deserve love. You just need to grow from it. He lets out a shaky breath, part relief, part pain. When he finally picks up his phone, his hands are steadier. He scrolls through his landlord's contact, hesitating only once before pressing call. I watch him walk to the corner of the kitchen, taking slow breaths as he prepares himself. I don't listen to his words. I give him his space, but I can hear the tone. His voice is quiet, respectful. He pauses often, letting the other person speak. I hear phrases like, I understand, and I'm responsible, and I'm asking for time, sir. Those are new words coming from him. When he returns, he looks exhausted, but calmer. He's giving me until the end of the week, he says. 3 extra days. That's all you need, I reply. He sits again, rubbing his hands together nervously. Dad, can I stay with you for the week? Just until I figure things out? I don't want to assume anything after the way I acted. I nod once. Yes, but you're not here just to sleep. You're here to rebuild. That means working, budgeting, cleaning up your debts, and repairing the space between us. He nods slowly. I can do that. I want to do that. The heaviness in the room begins to shift, like a storm cloud finally giving way to a slow, cautious light. But even as things calm, I see something unsettled in his eyes, something still lurking beneath the surface. I study him quietly. There's more, isn't there? He freezes for a moment. Then his shoulders drop, defeated. Yes, there is. I lean forward. Tell me. He hesitates, staring at the table. His voice, when it finally comes, is quiet. Dad, I didn't just lose track of rent. I didn't just lose track of bills. I've been hiding something else. Something I messed up. Really badly. I wait, giving him room to continue. He looks up at me, and I can see it now. The guilt he's been carrying like a stone tied to his chest. I owe someone money. Not the bank. Not the landlord. Someone else. And I'm scared, Dad. I'm really scared. His voice falls into a whisper. They want it back by tomorrow. I sit back slowly, feeling the weight of his words settle in the room like a cold wind. He looks at me with trembling eyes, bracing himself for my reaction. And before either of us can say anything else, his phone buzzes again. A new message. He reads it. His face drains. I know everything we've faced so far was only the surface. His face is pale, hands trembling as he holds the phone. He looks at me, eyes wide and raw, like he's facing the weight of every mistake he ever made. I don't rush him. I let the silence stretch, giving him space to feel the reality he's been running from. Dad, I don't know what to do, he whispers. I can't fix this alone. I thought I could handle everything, but I was wrong. His voice cracks. I take a slow breath. The quiet in the room is heavy, but it feels necessary. You're not alone, I say softly. But you will have to do the work yourself. I won't carry it for you anymore. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, shaking his head. I've relied on you too long. I didn't realize. I didn't understand how much I've taken for granted. His voice drops to a whisper. I was selfish. I hurt you. I nod slowly, letting him speak his truth. Acknowledging it is the first step. Now you can begin to make it right. He lifts his head, eyes glistening. I thought you'd be angry or disappointed, or, I don't know, cut me off forever. I did step back, I say. But I didn't step away. That's the difference. I stepped back so you could see how to stand on your own. And now, you're ready to take that step. He exhales shakily, relief and fear mixing in his chest. I'll call the landlord, organize everything, start paying off what I owe. I'll fix this, Dad, I promise. Good, I reply. You'll stumble along the way. You'll make mistakes. That's okay. But this time, you will handle the consequences yourself. He nods, determination slowly replacing panic. I understand now. Not just about the money, but about responsibility. About life. About respecting the people who love me. I smile gently, feeling a quiet pride I haven't allowed myself to feel in years. That's the most important lesson. Money doesn't teach that. Fear doesn't teach that. Life teaches that. And you're finally ready to learn. He pauses for a moment, looking around my quiet house, and then meets my gaze with something new. Gratitude, humility, and respect. Thank you, Dad, not for giving me money, but for letting me grow. For not rescuing me this time. I reach out and place a hand on his shoulder. I always will be here for you. But growth requires space. You needed this moment more than I realized. We sit together for a while in silence, listening to the subtle hum of the house settling around us. I watch him breathe, calmer now. And I know the panic that brought him here is slowly being replaced by awareness, responsibility, and courage. Finally, he stands, straightens his shoulders, and nods. I won't waste this chance, Dad. I'll prove to you and to myself that I can handle it. You already have, I reply softly. You just didn't know it yet. As he leaves to make the calls, I remain seated, hands folded, heart steady. I reflect on the journey of the past few days, the messages, the anger, the panic, the truths we both had to face. I realize something crucial. The hardest love isn't the one that protects or shields. It's the one that steps back, allows the lessons to arrive unsoftened, and gives someone the courage to rise. Sometimes love is not the comfort of being there for someone. Sometimes it's the strength to let them fall, so they can finally stand. And in that quiet kitchen, watching the shadows stretch across the floor, I feel a peace I haven't felt in years. A deep understanding that this moment, this growth, this reckoning is more powerful than any money, any support, any safety net I could have provided. He's ready now. And I am too ready to watch him stand on his own, proud of the man he's beginning to become.